Today, I've got something really special for everyone. It's a product that hasn't been released yet, is still under embargo by every other content creator, and B&H probably shouldn't have sold it to me. So let's take a look at the Luna Ultra from Insta360. They're a competitor to the DJI Pocket 4 and Pocket 4 Pro, which also isn't out yet. So how did I get my hands on this? I was scrolling through Instagram threads when I saw a post from Philip Bloom saying that B&H had the Luna Ultra on sale. Now, no one knew when this camera was coming out. It's been teased for a while, but it seemed like B&H put it out too early. So I took advantage of living in New York City and I bought it. 30 minutes later, it was ready for pickup. I went over to B&H and I grabbed it, and shockingly, they sold it to me. So now I have the Luna Ultra. Now, this isn't a perfect story. It'd be perfect if I could use the camera. Unfortunately, Insta360's app isn't up to date yet, so I can't activate the camera, but that's okay. Supposedly it's dropping tomorrow morning, but we'll see. I'm hoping it is so I can use it. But anyway, we're gonna take a look at some of the things I can gather from the physical design and from the box and the information in the box. So let's do a little unboxing and give everyone their very first real look at the Luna Ultra that doesn't come from a sponsored creator or anything like that. I have worked with Insta360 in the past on videos, but I haven't heard back on any of my emails asking to view this camera or review it, so I spent my own money on this. Anyway, let's get into the unboxing. So taking a look at the box, because this is where we're gonna get most of our information, because like I said, I can't really use the camera yet. You'll see that there's co-branding with Leica, co-engineered with Leica. It says it right on the box. This is something we've seen with past Insta360 cameras, and I think it's something we're gonna continue to see moving forward. I do think, I'm not sure, don't quote me on it, that there are Leica profiles in this camera, similar to like the color profiles you have on the Ace Pro 2, which will be super interesting to try when we can actually use this camera. Moving on to the side of the box, this is where a lot of the information we're gonna get about this camera is. It says it's got dual Leica Summicron lenses. Are these lenses actually Summicron quality? I don't know, but we're gonna find out once we can shoot with it. It does have this like 12x, 6x, 3x, 2x, 1x, kind of similar to what the iPhone does. So I'm assuming they've got some digital crop modes in here along with the two lenses. Now the big thing right here, it's got a 1-inch sensor that does 8K. This is awesome to see. I won't use 8K, but having a 1-inch sensor on a camera like this is super important. I think that's part of the reason why the Pocket 3 does so well. Now up until now, I haven't heard exactly what these focal lengths are, and now we know. It's a 20mm, which is perfect for vlogging. That's going to be your main lens. And then it's a telephoto 120mm. I'm interested to see how 120mm works for a camera like this. Part of me feels like I would have been happier with 80. 120 might just be really tight for a lot of the things I use, but hopefully those digital crops will help kind of split the difference between those. You've got their typical AI low light performance stuff. It's got a triple AI chip. How much of that is marketing? Who knows, but that's what it says. And then true to life portraits. Not really sure what that's trying to say. Most cameras can take true to life portraits. Moving on to the other side of the box, you'll see they've got the detachable OLED touchscreen remote control. Now this is a feature that I think is awesome, and this is going to be the selling point for this camera over something from DJI. I think it's super useful. I love being able to detach the camera from the screen with the Insta360 Go Ultra, and I like that they're bringing this to other cameras. I think it's going to be super useful to frame up your shots while you're mounting your camera somewhere else, and I'm excited to use it. It's also nice that this remote should work as a microphone from what I've heard, which is awesome. Then they've got 4K live frames. I wonder if this is something like Apple Live Photos. I'm not quite sure. They've got AI tracking and rapid focus. One of my issues with the DJI Osmo Pocket 3 is the focus breathing, so I'm hoping this camera will have better focus breathing and hopefully better autofocus. With most action camera companies right now, Insta360, DJI, their cameras have awesome tracking already, so I'm sure the tracking on this will be great, but time will tell. Then the big thing right here, this has 10-bit log. It uses their iLog. We've never seen 10-bit in an Insta360 camera, and this is huge. It's one of the reasons people buy DJI over Insta360 these days, and I'm happy to see they're finally including 10-bit in their cameras. This makes it a much more professional camera than any other Insta360 camera that's come before it. And then a 4-hour battery life. This really surprised me. I feel like I get an hour and a half on the Osmo Pocket 3, which has one less lens and it's 3 years older. So to have a newer camera with faster processing in theory, 2 lenses, another sensor with that lens, having a 4-hour battery life is going to be super nice. We'll see if it can actually hold up to that claim once we start testing it in a future video. Now at the back of the box, this is the standard edition, so it comes with the camera, the protective case, a little adapter to use it with a tripod, similar like the DJI Pocket 3, but it looks like it's got these little legs to hold it up, which will be really nice instead of a whole tripod adapter, a lanyard, and some cables and paperwork. Like I said, this is the standard edition. There's not a lot here. I think I paid $750, $760 for it. They did show the price of the creator bundle on B&H, and that was going to be closer to $950. So whether that's worth it, TBD, because we don't know what that comes with. But assuming that comes with the mic and a few other accessories, it may be worth it if you don't already have audio solutions. Now I do wish with these standard edition bundles, being that these are more professional cameras and you can't just use any ND filter, I do think if they came stock with an ND filter, it would be really nice. I'm assuming that's something you may get in the creator bundle. Like I said, I don't know for sure, but I wish the standard edition did come with an ND filter. I'm sure in no time companies like K&F Concepts will have ND filters out for this, but it would be really nice if it just came with an ND filter in the box. So speaking of what's in the box, let's open it up. It opens with this flap over here, it's magnets, it feels really nice. You'll notice over here there's a note about Leica's new chapter with Insta360 or Insta360's chapter with Leica. It's a nice message. I just think it further proves that they're going to be working closely together in the future. So now the camera's just sitting in here. Let's take it out and take a look. So first impressions, this camera feels lighter than I expected, although the case is fairly burly. To open it, it's just a button on the side right here and it pops open like that, and I had it upside down. And then you can pull the camera right out. Now I know we want to look at the camera, but let's look at the case a little more first. You'll see there are 2 spots in the case. One is for a wide angle lens and one is for a mist filter. This is super similar to how DJI does their cases with the spot for the filters. It's the same way in the Pocket 3. Personally, I don't feel like I'll need the wide angle filter, but it's nice to have if you want that wide angle look, and I don't expect to use a mist filter. I just don't feel like I need it for a camera like this. So I'm going to close that up. And let's take a look at the actual Luna Ultra. Now right away, the thing we have to talk about first is how the screen comes off. It's got 2 buttons on the side, you just pinch and it pulls right off. It reminds me a lot of how the Insta360 Go Ultra works. It's a button, you pull it off, and then you can use the screen and the camera remotely. I think it's a really fun feature. You'll see there are contacts on each side of the camera body and the screen to connect. And then to put it back in, you just slide it in and it clicks right into place. Now looking at the buttons on the camera, you'll see a joystick to control the gimbal. You'll see this button, which I think may be a record button, but it also turns the camera on and off. And then you'll see this rocker over here, which I think will be used to zoom between the digital zoom and the other focal length. Then you have 2 buttons on the screen. So let's flip the screen open and you'll see the camera turns on. Now I do find it turns on faster when you hold this button, just something to note. It does turn on quicker than my Pocket 3. Now I'm greeted with the startup menu, I can select my language and then I get to this point and I can't move past here until the app is updated, so hopefully that will be updated soon. So I can't use the camera further past this, but we can still look at some of the other things this camera has to offer. So of course up front we have the 2 lenses, the most important part of the camera. One is a 20mm 1-inch sensor that could shoot up to 8K, and the other doesn't have the sensor size. It may be in the paperwork. If it is, I will put it on the screen, and that's at 120mm. So you have 2 really far focal lengths. One's really wide and one's pretty telephoto, which will make it super versatile. And you'll also have that digital zoom in between. Then down from there, you see this grid pattern. I'm assuming this is a mic capsule. Insta360's audio in the past has always been really good. The Go Ultra and Ace Pro 2 are some of the best sounding action cameras I've used, so I'm assuming this will sound just as good, and I think that's what this is. Overall, the camera feels really good in the hand. It feels easily as well built as the Pocket 3, maybe even a little more robust, and I think it looks really good. I really like the way Insta360 combined these 2 lenses. I think it looks better than the DJI Pocket 4 Pro that's been teased and leaked, but really performance matters most, and I can't show you how it performs yet. Hopefully I will be able to soon. Like I said, I will have more videos on this as I'm able to use the camera more. If you do have any questions that I'm able to answer, let me know in the comments below and I'll try to do my best at answering them with the limited use I have of this camera. Now real quick, if this is a weird insert, it's because I almost forgot to talk about the SD card. There's an SD card slot for MicroSD on the side. This flap is a bit hard to open and it just slots in right there. Now, in the limited time I was able to connect it to the app, I couldn't activate it, but it does look like there's around 40 gigs of internal storage. Not a ton, but it will help you out in a pinch, and I love cameras with internal storage. I think more cameras should do that. So you got a little overview of how the camera feels, how it looks, my thoughts on build quality. Obviously time will tell, but my initial impressions. Let's look at what else it comes with. Like I said, it doesn't come with an ND filter. I really wish it did, but it does come with this little adapter to use it with a tripod. Now, I wish they just put the tripod port on the bottom and moved the USB-C port, but you can't win everything. The nice thing about this compared to DJI's version is that it's got these little feet that pop out. They're a little hard to pull out. You got to use your nail. When you pop them out, this can now stand up straight, which is something that always annoyed me on the Pocket 3. I feel like I was always struggling to place it down properly. Having these little feet are really nice. So we'll just stow those away and put those off to the side. And this just has a one button click to attach to the Go Ultra, and then it's just a USB-C port. It's got the USB-C pass-through. So we'll put that off to the side for now. In here, it's just manuals and instructions for the most part, but you do have the lanyard. You got all your paperwork, sticker. And then there's this, which I think is a wind muff. It feels squishy, and it does look to be the shape of that portion in the front of the camera. So if you look here real quick, I think this is a wind muff of some sort. Like I said, this is the standard edition, not the creator combo. With the creator combo, you will get more. So let's pack this all up and I'll give some last quick thoughts. So initial impressions, as much as I can give initial impressions because I can't use the camera, is this looks like a really great entry for Insta360 in this space. The Pocket 3, Pocket 4, and soon to be Pocket 4 Pro really have needed some competition. I think these are some of the most interesting and fun cameras to use. I use my Pocket 3 for all sorts of things, professional shoots, personal vlogging, capturing little moments. It's just such a versatile camera, and I'm excited to see Insta360's offering in this market. It feels really good in the hand. It feels like they really thought it through and did a good job with it, but time will tell. As I get access to this camera and as I can activate it and actually use it, I will have more videos. I'll probably do a first impressions video as well as a full review. I bought this camera with my own money. None of this is sponsored through Insta360, and I want to give you real impressions of my personal use and how I actually feel this camera performs. If you're interested in that, make sure to subscribe. For now, go and shoot some photos. Thanks for watching.